Okay, back into it, guys. Just had a moment of clarity on the break. The King Jack off against Jamie Staples was actually pretty badly played. So if you saw that hand, basically we need to VPip it. I don't know why I didn't in the moment. In the moment, I don't know why I didn't, to be honest. But yeah, we need to. We need to be VPipping it. And I actually lean towards 3-betting it. Oh man, this guy again. I think I'm just going to go for max value here with this one. Can we call him this time? Probably not. Very close though. Got a lot of tables now, guys. So I will be trying my best to talk, but forgive me if I get caught up in all the excitement. And you find me just blankly staring at the screen, not saying anything. That was... Yeah. We got quite a few tables going. I haven't actually busted. They were still hanging around and a lot of stuff, so obviously that's good. Makes things a little bit more intense though with the play. I might actually unregister from a couple of things that are coming up. Give me a chance to make sure I'm zoned in. I should have gone a little bit larger than min here with the 5-6 suited. I think it's going to be better, but fine. As long as it... Oh my god. Can you just have ace-5, Jamie, please? And then I'll be happy again. He's going to be folding a lot here. He calls. He snaps. I said he's going to be folding a lot here and he snaps. Please have ace-5. He's just going to have ace-high a lot. He's going to fold turn, but we have to try and get some value. Just fold. Why couldn't you have a set? Yeah, the King Jack with the last part was played bad. I think we should just 4-bet it, to be honest. Because it's a fringy call, so it should be a 4-bet. I mean, I would have snapped with like 7-8 suited or stuff like that, but... Like King Jack, it's like 10 Jack, Jack Queen, you know, those hands are kind of on the cusp. Just because they're not doing very well against his value part of his range, but they're doing pretty well against his bluffy parts, which is some like 9, 10 Jack suited and some ace-x suited and stuff. Kind of annoying, actually. I don't know, I've been cutting down on my in-game mistakes a bit, I think. When I look at reviews, you know, I used to be a lot of things when I review a tournament later and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have done that. Hasn't really been happening so much lately when I review. I'm normally okay with like 85 to 90% of my decisions. But today has not been, I feel, particularly well played so far. That means there's room for improvement. Room to improve. Getting short in a couple of these outer tables. So there's definitely a chance I bust some of these soon. Bottom left here. Oh my god, really? I think we can 3-bet this. Kind of awkward with the stack that we have. Sevens and gets ace king in the big 44. Come on, 7 ball. No. 7. Damn it. That's a big pot. Damn, right in near the money too. I mean, we're still in, but like, we would have had such a mega stack. Man, that's annoying. We would have had a beautiful stack. 3-5. Do we want to fire here? Nah. You gotta fold it. I wouldn't hate firing, but gonna call the 3-bet squeeze there with the 6-7 suited. Pretty deep. Getting like 25 to 1. If he bets, I'm gonna kind of snap, I think. Which will just delight him if he's got aces, ace king, or kings. Oh my god, he's sitting out. I'm gonna lead the turn, small. I didn't realize that this guy was in as well. I mean, I saw him once before I bet, but I think I'm gonna just bet because our hand needs some protection if we have the best hand, and this guy was sitting out on the flop, so like he might not be there. He's back. I wonder if he did that on purpose. It said sitting out when he checked. It was a timed out check, and it said sitting out. I wonder if he did it on purpose with kings. That would be awesome if he has. I think we have to fold now because he's. Well, I mean, he's just. The hand is just weird. It's freaking me out, the hand. And the other guy naturally just snap folds as well. It's like, I love it when they do that. Like, they decide to get involved on the turn and then just snap fold to a race. Like, what's he got? Like 8s? I don't know. Richie's got some weird fish hand, like ace jack or something. Ace queen. I was so weird that the other guy timed out and then raced the turn. I saw that. When did I see that? I saw that like. Must have been like 2 months ago when the guy had the nuts. Didn't really feel like it in that situation, but maybe he did. Maybe. Who knows? What part are we up to now? Here we are up to part 4 now, okay. A6 off on the button. I think we just fold this one, though. This guy is on the loose side. Actually, he's very loose. Might actually 3-bet it. I wouldn't normally. Wouldn't really normally 3-bet it. Well, that makes that one pretty easy. I mean, I guess too, he could be opening a little bit wide because it's the bubble. You know what I mean? Like there's 404 get paid and there's 410 left. So between his looseness and the fact that it's the bubble, I could definitely see him getting a little bit out of line here. So I don't mind this play, but it's definitely not a normal 3-bet. It's just too weak. I mean, even for a 3-bet, Your 3-bets will obviously have some weaker hands that you're not that you don't think are profitable calls like that. But that one's just getting way too far down, I think. If you're 3-betting that, you're starting 3-bet probably all aces offsuit. Once you start 3-betting all offsuit aces, then you're like 3-betting like way too much. And I think I will open the ace-8 off. I would normally 3-bet top left. I've called, it's a time bank randomizer. Didn't have much time left, so I just called. But you can go either way with it. I would fold it sometimes too, but I mean, this guy looks kind of loose. And I've got him marked as a fish, so kind of makes me want to play with him a little bit more. And I think I'm going to fold the 6s down here. We could jam it, I guess, but it's a pretty fringy jam. I think, do we want to raise? I'm just trying to think. Oh, I think I want to squeeze up here. 7, 14, 21, 28. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize piggy bank was so short. Oh. Oh my god. And I've timed out there. Oh my god. Everything's gone pear-shaped. Now we have to call off. Damn it. 9-ball. Oh, it's so ugly. I don't hate it still, but I would have rather checked his stack size first. Because he had like, a second ago I looked and he had like 30 or 40,000, and now I look and he's like 9. I'm like, fuck. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't really, well, I don't hate it. It's kind of close. I did hate folding top left though. I should have jammed it. I timed out with the King 10 of diamonds. Easy jam. I was actually going to raise it, not jam it. I was actually going to raise it to like 3k and then shove turn. I think it might play better that way. What's this guy's frequency here? Raise first turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to 3-bet here. Just because we're just so far ahead of his range. He's opening a lot of buttons. And he's pretty deep too, so I don't think he's going to shove or anything. I've got the ace 10 suited. Yeah, that was a bit... I think top right, I mean, he opens so much on the button, and this guy we said before from last part, if you remember, was like a loose fish. So, I mean, I certainly don't mind squeezing it. In fact, I think it's okay. And once we do, I don't think we can fold once he jams. So it's just like the thinnest hand, like it kind of looks a bit ugly, but the reality is it's just like the thinnest hand we would do that with. Like it's just the absolute, it's just the end of the like spectrum of hands we'd do it with, but I think it's okay. Just because we're against such wide ranges, I think that gets folds tons. And if we do get jammed on, it's not pretty, but we can't fold at that point. Even if he showed us ace queen, I think we're probably supposed to call. Because of the odds we were getting, I'm pretty sure we'd still have to call even if he showed us ace queen. Yeah, so I think it's okay. I'm a little bit annoyed about top left though, that we flopped so nicely with that king 10 suited and then I timed out. This is interesting. Top right here. I think I'm going to check the turn and then assess on the river. Kind of feels pretty close between a value and a check. I don't have any notes on the guy, and sometimes these guys actually, yeah, it looked like he had ace 3 or ace 5. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't try and play it one way or another. I thought he might dab on the end or something, I don't know. Got aces here in this one. The $33 and an all in, so I'm going to call. There is tables beeping at me everywhere, guys. No more timing out though, please. I don't want to see any more timeouts. That was ugly. Oh, ace is going to face 4. No more timing out. That's it. I think this guy's loose enough that we can just jam ace 10 here. 30. Yeah, it's definitely, again, it's pretty much the weakest hand I'll do it with. But I mean, we're right on the sort of, fringe of ace. Yeah, extra card. Can we get a 6th card, please? I think I'm going to open the ace-9 off top right. Probably not a hand I would normally open. But the players behind us are recreational players that I think are potentially not going to 3-bet us as much as they probably should be. I'm not 100% sure about that. I could be wrong, but this kind of feels that way. So I think Jamie's ranges are going to be made up of a lot of Broadway holdings, as well as pairs, like 7s and stuff. So I think I'm just going to check. He's checked again. Feels like we have the best hand still. Until now. Now it doesn't feel like it anymore. Ace check, okay. He did 3-bet 10-jack suited before. So there's a chance that he might 3-bet that sort of hand again. Or, he might think, well, I 3-bet aces up before, and this time I'm just going to flat with it. Queens. Nice. I shouldn't have played so many of these 888 ones. Got a whole bunch on the side, like 22, and what's this one? $12. Even got this $12 one in there. Got queens here. Is he going to V-pip? No, he folds. Okay. Disappointing. So we are in the money bottom left in the big 44, but we're just below average. And I think I'll open the king 6 suited. Pretty close one. If we think the guys behind are going to jam a lot, then we can fold it. This is that guy before we said was opening a lot. He was opening quite a lot, but he's from third. We've got a few players behind ourselves. He's pretty close. So the button 3-bets us with, I think I might block bet here. The button 3-bets us, and he's 3-bet by position. He's been really tight. I think I'm just going to fold. If he was loose, I would shove. Going with a 4-bet here with the ace-9 suited. It's a little bit risky in a... Oh, it's a $30 tournament. Yeah. I was going to say, if it's a $12 tournament, I think plays like this, you want to do a little bit less. Just because these guys don't really 3-bet, as wide, and they call 3-bets more. And sometimes they just spaz jam here, like 6s or something. So it's all in all, I think it's Not necessarily that profitable in a low buy-in. In a higher buy-in, I think it's better. That's a good turn card we can just shove. Feels like he's got like 10s or 9s, or like maybe just some like ace queen that didn't want to fold flop. I guess he could have a jack, but I mean, most of these guys in the low buy-ins, they just shove a jack on the flop, but he didn't. He called with it. I like his play. It's an annoying turn. The positive of that is we have less tables to focus on. Not really what you want to be celebrating, but let's bring in the double deuce. I didn't think I actually registered for that many tables, but apparently I did. I guess these scoops do, like, you're pretty deep, and like a lot of the tournaments I've selected is pretty deep stuff, so obviously I'm trying to play less turbos and more deep stuff, especially when you've got so many tournaments to choose from. It doesn't make much sense to have, like, you know, be playing a lot of like high variance turbos when you can play like, you know, stuff like the $33 12k guaranteed where you're deep. The scoops, obviously, these XL Infernos where you're pretty deep. $11 rebuy where you're super deep. Big 22 where you're super deep. You know, relatively anyway. Speaking of the 33, got Ace King suited here. And the ace is down here where I will just do my normal 55. Yes, come on. Diamond. Probably top right, we could probably smeal. We can probably smeal a small bet. We can probably smeal a Paul bet. Steal a small bet? That's what I'm trying to say. Unfortunately, it got raised. Because we could turn the nuts if we had have hit a queen. I would have been very happy with deep stacks calling 800. But once it gets raised, between the fact that this guy, there's just more to call, and the fact that this guy could re-raise, I think it just would have fold. It's unfortunate because this guy here is a pretty big fish, so like, for him to be raising, if the queen does come, it feels like it could potentially be a huge payday. So it's almost tempting to actually still call, but I just think not quite out of position with just 4 outs. It's probably not going to be profitable. And he just raised with a6 and then turned 2 pair. Donk style. Absolute donk style. Just raised with a6. Although, having said that, nah, let's be honest, it's just bad. It's just bad. I was going to try and give him some leeway. I think I'll try and isolate him here with this hand, King 8 suited. I think calling is actually okay with this hand in this specific spot. Like, I'm gonna block bet bottom right. Damn, that is so annoying. That is so annoying. Actually, it's actually a bit better now. We can actually call with the King 8 suited. Just so annoying, this guy 4-bet there. I wonder if he Brazilian? He could actually do it. He is. I think actually, nah, he could actually be bluffing. Where's all the clubs? Where are all the freaking clubs? I have my buggy out. I was on the course. I was teeing up the ball. I didn't have any clubs. So annoying. I honestly feel like he's folding to a jam. Like, I know it sounds like super retarded, but like, honestly, I feel like he's folding to a jam. It's so sick. I just feel like he's doing the Brazilian, like, I'll just commit like my entire stack and then fold to a jam. It's the Brazil's #1 play. And if they realize how bad it is, the scary thing is once Brazil realizes how bad that strategy is, like, the games are actually going to get a lot tougher. You've probably heard me talk about it in some of the other streams. But apparently the #1 Brazilian training site says that you should always click it, 4-bet click it, because if you get folds, it's so profitable. So it's like this thing in the training videos where you should 4-bet click but it doesn't properly explain at what stack depth and in what situations. So the whole Brazilian community to just have started all 4-bet clicking. Well, not just started; they've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years, but they all like 4-bet click, or, you know, and it's quite amazing that they're just like all do it. It's like all of them. They just all do it. Every single time you see Brazil, you check, you see the small 4-bet. You're like, well, he's full of shit. You jam and he snap folds. Or you check the small 4-bet, he's from the UK, and then you can fold and he shows you aces. I just think it's amusing that they such a widely used strategy. By Brazilians, I mean. It's wide in Brazil. It's a big country. But, it's amazing how often you see it. I really hope we can get some chips in the bottom left. Big 44. Or the top right in the scoop. That'd be nice too. We're actually got a pretty good stack. 350th of 2,000, over 2,000, so. And we're actually doing okay. 3 of 88 in this $33. Got some chances. Just going to have to try and start playing a bit better though. Been unfortunately making a lot of mistakes. Mostly I think it's just through a lack of streaming, but I do want to be streaming, so gonna have to get used to it. Get used to 3, 3, 5, 5, 7, 4, 6. Just want to, I mean, we fold the 5-7 suited UTG bottom right there. I mean, there's way too many short stacks behind. All eagerly awaiting to jam. Pretty easy fold. But I think at, you know, really deep tables, you could open it at some frequency, I think, just for board coverage, but a low frequency. So we got M5 here, 5, 10, 15, 20, and we've got Ace3, so it's a fold. And we can open this one. Let's go 829. I think I will actually raise this guy. He's going to jam a lot, but whatever. Let's just fold 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I'll 3-bet Jamie here just because we're so far ahead of his range. Probably should have gone slightly bigger. A little bit small. Eight, 9. Well, I feel like we're a little bit too deep to fold. I mean to fold, to 4-bet and get it in. It's a little bit ugly, but I'm going to call here. He has gone a pretty small size. Bottom left, I'm going to jam now with the King 10 suited. Yeah. His sizing is a little bit concerning because he did click it back like he did click it back pretty small. If he had made it a bit larger, I mean, I would have been pretty close to just jamming this hand, I think. It could be bluffing. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to have it. It's interesting that he checks back. Kind of feels like he might have jacks, but he might have queens. I guess he could have ace queen. That would be a nice play. Feels like he thinks he's just got the best hand now, and he's got like jacks or tens, and he's just betting for protection. Oh, what's this guy got here? Nines. Okay, nice. I think we have to call here, eh? I mean, this guy's a pretty big jam, but like, yeah, I think we have to call. Come on, spade! Spade! No, that was a big pot. That was a big pot. Man, that was a huge pot. Ace or jack or spade. Damn, that was a huge pot. That's annoying. Very annoying. We would have been chip leader. I mean, this guy jammed M8 on the button when we opened cutoff, so ace jack suited is doing pretty well against his range. The other guy's only M4 in the big blind, so I'm like, well, you know. We're not doing terrific against an M4 jam once there's a raise and a jam, but he's short. He's still pretty desperate. And even if we just win the side pot, like, it's still pretty good. So, and ace jack overall is definitely should have enough equity. So, got it in there, and we were looking okay, but couldn't quite get there. It would have been a super pot to get too. It would have been a super pot to get. That's a good hand against Jamie before. I might bring the stream up and see if we can see what he had actually. It's not too late. He had ace 10. I don't know why it doesn't flat, to be honest, ace 10. I think that's actually a pretty good flat, to be honest. He said it's not good enough to flat, but I disagree. Say it's not profitable enough to call, but I have to completely disagree. He probably doesn't know my range very well. I think this is one part where Jamie probably suffers as a player in tricky spots like this. Like, he should be c-betting this board all day long.
I don't think that we're going to be able to bluff them on later streets. So I think we should probably just give up our story here. And if we're going to bluff, we shouldn't do it on the flop. We should probably do it on the turn. So we're going to do it on the turn. I think aces up is going to have some queens here. I think they're going to have some flush draws as well, specifically ace high flush draws. I just one and done, especially on the deuce of clubs. They're going to have some hands like that too, for sure. Alright, we're going to bet.
Interesting hand. So I've threw bet pretty thin here against Piggy Bank. Yeah, I mean, it's very thin, but I'm getting it in. I mean, I do expect him just to be folding a lot like he did. The thing about it is like, he's so loose. Flatting feels a bit dirty though, but he's M15, so if he shoves, I'd basically be relying on the history that we have. And the history is I think he thinks I'm a maniac, because when I used to play against him, I used to play a maniacal style, let's say, back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago when I used to play with him a lot. I would categorize my play as crazy. Compared to now, anyway. But a lot of us did play a lot crazier back then because there was a lot more metagame. Players had less predefined ranges and went more by instincts, whereas now players usually use like predefined... We just won a flip with pocket sevens against ace queen. We have to celebrate. There's a lot more Oh shit, hang on, sorry guys. Do we want to barrel that hand? I think we do. Oh man, why can't we have just, I don't know. I would have barreled that actually. I would have barreled it. I would have barreled it. I think he's got ace jack. It's annoying. Hopefully he shows us like eights, then I don't feel so bad. Threes. Well, I don't know. I mean, he might stick. he might be a sticky Mickey there. He might just decide to stick around. Alright, I just had some hands on other tables and stuff, so I was just like... I hope this stream doesn't get banned. Because, not banned, but like blocked, because I played Jamie's stream for a while and he had music playing. And it's probably some well-known song. I wasn't paying much attention, but... Not like Twitch, where they just, they can just block a song. It just blocked the whole stream, I think, on YouTube. You're playing like 10 seconds of some song that's copyrighted and that's it. You lose like a 1 hour stream. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Jamie's all in. And all out. Give him a GG. So I get a bet pretty small with the jacks here, just for some protection because we don't have a diamond against the big blinds to fed. He calls. I think we have to just check turn. We have an annoying stack size where if we bet and he jams, it would be pretty brutal. We can bluff catch. The 6 is also a bad card because he could have a little bit of 5-8, 8-10, 6-7. I think this is really close. I think I'm just going to check, to be honest. I do think he's got a ton of like 7 and 9x though, which might call. But I do think he could sometimes trap with like a queen or diamonds. I'm just going to play it safe. It's kind of annoying. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely calling that hand. I feel like so often like he's got that hand, but a lot of the time against these guys that are unknown guys, it's like they check big hands on the river like that, hoping you'll bet, even though they should probably just be leading them. So I got a little bit concerned that if I bet and then got jammed on, I'd be in a nightmare spot. And I mean, it could still. I mean, he could have a queen or a flush, like definitely possible. I think I might just jam here with 7-10. No! Heart! Damn it. Always an ace. I don't know how often he actually, how often does he limp call with an ace? Probably actually pretty often, I guess. Probably does. We're not going to fold the one bet. Got aces here on the 109. I think I might actually block bet here with the 8-10. It's fired small again. I think I'm... I think I'm going to fold, actually. I don't know how often players are going to... I don't know how often players in this spot are going to be bluffing with that bet size on that card. I'm just going to fold. We don't have a diamond, so... I'm just going to shove here, I think. Oh my fucking god, he's got 7s. Like, how does he call 7s for that sizing? That's so ridiculous. Decides to call most of his stack to set mine. What a champ. Maybe he could have called there actually, but... I was pretty sick. I mean, we're pretty deep. Pretty gross play by him. Calling off that many chips pre with 7s. You can see what he's thinking though, you know, it's like, oh, it's a bounty. I can call really wide, but like 7s in that spot, a quarter of your stack, like it's like a little bit more than a quarter of our stack. It's pretty gross. Even with the bounty, I mean, it's only $25. It's pretty disgusting. Maybe he thinks I'm getting way out of line there. Who knows, but that's pretty gross. Alright, we'll try with our luck with the aces down here in the double deuce. I think I kind of want to check it, but it's like 3-way. It's probably a little bit dangerous, a little bit risky, I guess. We've got aces everywhere. Well, at least we won with them down there. That's nice. Nice when you win with aces. See if we can win with them down here too. I like our chances here. I like our chances of getting jammed on too. Oh, I like our chances. I like our chances. Oh my god. No! Oh, they tried to scare us. They always have outs, don't they? It's like the best flop ever. And then the turn, it's like, oh my god, he's going to get a 10 for sure. I think we can still check with the nines. We've got a spade, so that's good. Flop's gone check, check. King 10, queen 10, ace 10. Probably hands that might play that line. I would think he would just check better jack on the flop, so that reduces the chance that he has a 10. So I don't know. I feel like he's just like got like sixes and he decided to bet to protect. But he could just be bluffing with some weird hand. He might just have like ace 4 or something. Wow, he's pretty polarized now. He's pretty much trying to tell us that he does actually have that 10. But we're not folding. Wow, that's a hand I didn't expect. Very unorthodox play. And certainly not really good play, I would say. I mean, he should definitely be 3-betting at pre. And if he's not 3-betting at pre, I mean, he should definitely be betting it on the flop. But aside from that, I think betting turn and river is fine. I just don't really get what he's trying to do. I think he's just scared and he's just trying to like not get bad beats or something. He doesn't want to like 3-bet and get 4-bet or I don't know. I'm just guessing. It's kind of weird. Got a hand where he can get a ton of value and he just decides to win a tiny pot. You don't get hands like that very often. You've got to make the most of them. Especially on that board, like, it's such a dangerous board, and he hasn't got a spade. If he's got a spade, I probably wouldn't mind the check as much, but... Double deuce, ace, king. Double down with the double deuce. Is this the guy that was just scared? No, it's not. This guy's pretty loose, actually. I'm just going to 3-bet him, to be honest. What you think about that, sir? Come on, ace, king, please. The double deuce, though. I really want to, win more chips in the, big 44 bottom left. I 3-bet this guy here with the ace-jack, Poker Luffy, or just Luffy his name is. We have a lot of history, and I'm just going to get in against him because he's an absolute maniac. Interestingly though, he is on the sickest heater ever. Like he was like a break-even kind of player for like a year or two, and then over the last like few months, like he's just shipped everything. Like he's just gone on a ridiculous, he's just shoved it. I think I'm just going to call it off. It's pretty sick, but we might make some pairs. Hold! Hold! Yes! Take that, Poker Luffy. What is that? How does your hot streak feel now, buddy? How is it feeling, the hot streak? Poor guy gets queens. Shit, some Mongol calling his jam. His steep stack jam with ace jack. Honestly, I thought he was going to show like ace 5 suited or like 4s. Or maybe like jack queen suited. He's that sort of player. He plays, you know, the funny thing is he actually plays how I played. He's like me, the old me. He's like me like 4 years ago. I swear, he's like plays exactly how I would have like 4 years ago. Although I don't know if I would have just jammed that. I must admit, I think I would have just 4-bet it. Maybe even called just to trap, but that was a bit weird just jamming it. I mean, I didn't expect it. And honestly, I can't tell if he's good or not because of the way he plays. But he's absolutely crushing the shit out of it. I know that much. His graphic, I should bring it up. It's like the most insane graph. I'm going to bring it up. It's like a ridiculous graph. It's going to make you cry when you see it. Let's see if I can find it. I feel like shedding a few tears. I swear the guy's on one of the sickest heaters ever. I think oh, this guy Donk's turn. Oh man, I don't know what to do here. I think I might just jam. He's in the big blind. It's kind of gross, but like we have a lot of outs. We might get a few folds. The problem that I have with calling is like occasionally he might actually have a hand like king queen of hearts and then bluff us on the river or something, or like 4-5 of hearts and then bluff on the river or something, and we have to fold. Maybe not king queen because we're losing to that anyway. But you know, that sort of hand where he's got like queen 10 or like something like that, and he bets and then shoves river, and we end up folding. Like I know it looks like he has an ace, but at the same time, even if he's got like ace 5, he's in a pretty tough spot. He's in the big blind, so should have a pretty wide range, and we can have some strong hands. So we had a gut shot with a flush draw, so it worked out. Got the fold, which I'm guessing we wanted. The other thing is too, I mean, occasionally he might call with worse. Like occasionally he just has like queen 5 of spades or something, or queen 5 of hearts. So it's good to get the fold. He might have been protecting with like a weaker pair, and we can certainly have strong hands in that spot because we checked to the preflop 3-better. So I mean, I don't think he's going to be too wide, calling a 3-bet pre out of position, but you know, in the big blind with VPIP 53%, I mean, he could just have, I think, well, not anything, but you know, still pretty wide, I think. If he's, I mean, there's a small sample, but the stats that he's projecting are that he's probably a loose fish, but maybe time will tell. Maybe he's not. So ace jack suited here looks like a pretty easy jam, especially against this guy's playing a lot. And we have M7. Pretty standard. 6-8 against jacks. Hold. I believe that is a hold. $11 rebuy. Double up. And he does just fold bottom left. So that's good. I mean, that's okay. We're just M8.5, just under M9 in that big 44. And it's getting deep. 106. We're coming 106 of 189. Remember, 400 got paid, so it's getting kind of deep. Top right, we're 500 of 2,000, so nicely above average. Excuse me. And what was I going to say? That's it's actually still late reg though, so it's still got ages to go. But you know, if we can make a deep run, I certainly wouldn't mind winning 100,000. I mean, that would certainly be fine with me. 100,000 score. Certainly wouldn't say no to it. Last hand of the level. Oh, I was going to bring in Luffy's graph. Have a look at this. That's actually gone. Oh no, that's big dog pocket 5. So I was going to say, that's not what I expected. Look at that. Holy moly, this guy was down 40k. Look at this, bang, down. And all of a sudden it's gone, oh yeah, 12k, no worries. 5k, no worries. 5k, no worries. Oh, I'll have 16k, 5k. Add another 6 on top of that. And let's just make everything, you know, good with another 7k. That's one that is that 7k there that he got in that XL. I actually came third and he won it. I came third and he was being an absolute maniac on the final table. That's what I said. Why I said before, when we have history, that was from that XL final table where I came third. I got like 4k or something. He got 7k. He shipped it. I think he shipped it. Yeah, he shipped it. You can imagine he was sitting on the right of me too, with like from about 6 left. I think he was on my right. You can imagine the madness that was happening. And I was 3-betting him and he just kept 4-bet shoving. It was driving me nuts. I knew he had wide ranges, but he kept ICM screwing me. And I'm like, this time he's going to fold and 3-bet, and then he'd just like shove. Like, this time he's going to have to fold. Like, he must think I have it this time, and I'll raise, and then he'll just shove. It was like driving me nuts. But he was doing some kind of weird things, dumb things at times. So I'm like, is this guy really good? I can't tell. He's like the old aces up. He's just a maniac. Anyway. All right, end of the level, peeps. Back with more action soon. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Aces Up for PokerNerve.